just say 20. Let's just say 20 minutes. We still got 20 minutes to figure this out.
No,
all right. My bad. I hope they didn't see me dancing.
You good?
We are.
You good?
Man. It was the vibe, man. That was the vibe. So today we're doing a chakra Q&A. Appreciate everybody for tapping in, and please introduce my lovely partners in crime, Prime Serpent, that's Sacred Serpent, Prime Harmonic in the building. The full Voltron has come together to present, another ratchet dynamic presentation once more. For some reason, when us three get together, laughs just come out of nowhere. We don't plan the comedy. It just kind of just bubbles organically. And I can tell y'all from my perspective, these two got they're full of jokes today. So we're gonna welcome these two. How y'all feeling today, brothers?
I'm feeling good, man. I went ice skating for the
Peace
first
to the
time.
family.
Bust my ass.
Oh man.
You went ice skating during COVID? Peace to the family. Peace and love to the family.
We was wearing masks. We were wearing masks.
But you know what? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I'm just. How we go through the whole pre-game warm-up and he tell us about ice skating, but we get on the show and the first thing he want to talk about is ice skating. I'm just trying to figure out.
He told me he probably didn't want to tell. He didn't want to tell the same story twice. That's what I'm thinking.
Or maybe he thought I was going to be hard on him because he was putting on ice skates.
This is actually water for y'all to think that I'm drinking a 40 or something like this. Nigga drinking a 40.
Oh yeah.
You took it back to 88. You took it back to 88.
And this is my tea.
Mountain Valley.
Man. I got some water. I got some water and some rum and a Monster. Okay.
Ice skating is lit. Now, what happened when you went ice skating, brother?
I couldn't do it, man. I used to roller skate, but it's just been too long, man. And
you didn't even
get
to the. Oh wow.
No, I was scooting along. Scooting along.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then true confession, scooting. On that wall.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you was bracing yourself on the wall, tried to get off a little bit, and then bow.
This dude skated by. He was like, "Bro, you came here to skate, man. Get off the wall. That ain't your friend."
I kind of feel like there should be a age level to the number of people that are allowed to say the word scooting, right? So I know that you have broke that threshold, Prime, and I just don't want to hear you say scooting no more. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
All right. But like I was telling Hood, I learned a valuable lesson today after the skating. My daughter was playing around on the stairs. Like there's some stairs that lead down to the rink. And, you know, she was like playing with the snowbank and doing some other stuff that I knew would lead to trouble if she fell down on her head, right? So I call myself being smart, grabbing the bag to run up the stairs to go tell her to stop playing so hard before she hurt herself on the stairs. And I fell down on the stairs and bust my leg up trying to tell her not to bust herself up on the stairs.
And she was perfectly fine, I take it.
She was fine, man. She was fine. I was the one that was hurt because I ran trying to help her, trying to tell her. I was like, don't do that. Boom. So, it taught me, man. I was too involved. I was too into what she was doing instead of paying attention to my own self. I should have just let her be. Or just said something from afar, but not be investing all that energy to run up in there and try and live her life. You know what I mean?
You was on your Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone last action hero.
He was on his I Am Legend.
Necessary, yeah.
He was on his I Am Legend.
And it wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
I gotta ask her what she did when I fell. Matter of fact, now I gotta think about that. I don't even know.
My money is on laughing, but I'll let you figure that out.
I got a random question. I just got a random question. Nothing to do with chakras. I just got a random question. I hope the two of you can help me with this. So what happens when you and your partner are supposed to carry yourselves as spiritual beings, right? Having this human experience, and yet your partner still gets upset when you don't want to celebrate American holidays. What happens to?
Oh, you trying to take hard lefts. You take hard lefts.
It's on my mind. I don't know why it was on my mind. It was just on my mind. And I figured, while we're killing time right here, we're not really killing time. We're only here for a good time. I think this is a good question for a good time. I just want to know what y'all think about that. Like, I don't know, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. What happens if you and your girl been smudging it up, and doing all of this nice, beautiful stuff, and then Valentine's Day come and you ain't do nothing for Valentine's Day and she get mad, but y'all had discussed and agreed that y'all wasn't gonna be celebrating this shit, but she still get mad anyway. What happens?
Well, I'll tell you what did happen. 1 year with me, I messed up and I believed my wife when she said, "Oh, you ain't got to get me nothing." So I ain't get nothing. She was like, "What? You give me a card or nothing? Nothing?" I said, "Nah, you said I ain't got to get you nothing, so I ain't get you nothing." Man.
Balls that you have, sir.
Hey, she said I ain't have to get her nothing.
I'm waiting to hear Hood's response. I don't really care what you talk about.
But hey, you best believe next Valentine's Day I got her something.
Oh, I bet you did. I bet you ain't missed one since. I bet you ain't missed one since.
Nope. But she ain't tell me that again either. Because she knows.
Yeah, because she ain't had the need to. She ain't had the need to because she had to keep it real with herself from there on out. Like, listen, I'm gonna feel some type of way if I don't see nothing tomorrow.
Watch how I do this. What was the question again?
See. We had agreed upon not celebrating these holidays. So what happens when your significant other still gets upset when you're not celebrating those holidays?
I mean, for me, I'm very militant. I'm extremely militant, and not because I'm trying to prove a point to nobody, but because like I never had these institutions kind of like help me in no type of way. I always looked at it as like them versus me. So within my relationships, I think my partner generally understands that about me, and maybe she don't. And if she don't understand that about me, it's going to be kind of hell for fucking with me or dealing with me or being around me because I'm very vigilant. Like I can talk about this type of stuff all day, every day. So I know like it might be hard to deal with me, I guess. But imagine me changing. That'll be a hard sell for me because I really don't really walk. I don't really talk it to talk it. I really walk it to walk it. So it's like I hope that my wife don't feel a certain type of way, but if she do, that's like I love her, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want her to feel bad. But it's like one of them type of things, like, you know, if she wanted to like huff paint or something like that, I wouldn't be like, well, I love you, so let's go huff paint together. Like I'd be like, babe, you're gonna have to do that shit on your own. So I generally like I don't want to engage in negative emotions towards my wife for no reason, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be with a woman that's like, all right, if I want a girl that wear lace fronts and my wife wear dreads, I'm gonna always have a problem with my wife. You know what I'm saying? Because I just want lace fronts in my life. You know what I'm saying? Different styles every day. Blonde today, long tomorrow, short the next day. Like, and then, you know, so but that's just a joke. But anyways.
I got it. I got it.
No,
I got it. If nobody else got it, I caught it.
I was about to say weeby.
No. I'm just saying, like, I don't care enough to feel negative about my wife. If my wife want to choose a holiday to feel negative about me, that's kind of on her. Because I will make that decision in a heartbeat. If I married a Jehovah's Witness, I wouldn't be like, you know what, fuck that shit. I'm about to buy you Christmas gifts anyways. Like, I'd be like, that's what's up. I respect that you're a Jehovah's Witness. I'm not going to buy you a birthday present.
Right.
That's disrespectful, low-key.
So, I'm going to tell you what I wrote down, man. Yeah, that's straight up. That's straight up, man. So let me ask you this.
Thank you for that, bro.
Oh, yeah, that's dope. How sometimes these situations in our lives will cause us to, not in a negative way, but we have to be selfish, right? We have to look out for our feelings. I guess two questions. And Ra, I want you to tackle this because I want to hear your set on this, man. Number one, should we tactfully be selfish? And number two, if we should, how should we be tactfully selfish? Like,
define tactfully selfish for me, because I need that in my life. I need that definition.
Tactfully.
Use a militant nigga, so tactfully goes with militant, sir.
But selfish, I'm thinking about the community and the family and the kids.
Nah. See what I think.
No, but tact, exercising tact is like you doing it in a way that kind of soothes
methodology,
the feelings of the person. Yeah,
that's your method. Yeah. That's your modus operandi. You know what I'm saying? That's how you get down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well,
should
first
you
I
be
think
selfish with tact.
Go ahead. Okay.
Yeah. That was it.
If we're gonna tackle this question, then we have to get to the distinctions first. And the first distinction you need to understand is, or that people need to understand, is that there is a difference between being selfish and being self-centered. Okay. So
y'all giving me anxiety right now because y'all got too many differences and too many caveats. What are y'all talking about?
That's how I feel when you talk about the moon and the lighthouse.
I'm drinking my own Kool-Aid. I'm taking my own medicine because this is tough.
Okay. No, but it's but that is an important
distinction. Selfish.
Yeah.
Self-centered.
It's an important distinction because selfishness is necessary. Okay, selfish is what you do for yourself. All right, like you are supposed to take 100% great care of yourself first. Otherwise, you can't then transmute that to taking care of anybody else or doing or being there for anybody else. Now, self-centered is different. Self-centered is everything is about me. Nothing moves unless I move it. And if something goes wrong, if I don't feel good about it, then everything is wrong. You know what I'm saying? That's completely different.
That's deep right there. That's deep.
This is completely different from selfish.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Right
selfish, you're supposed to take care of yourself. You're supposed to be selfish. You know what I'm saying? Self-centered, you're not supposed to do that.
You can.
Yes. Selfish goes in the same bag with loving yourself. You dig what I'm saying?
Or taking care of yourself or whatever.
Yes, if you're loving yourself, you are supposed to be selfish. But if you're not loving yourself, you're not loving those around you, then you're a self-centered motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Well, nothing moves unless you decide it's supposed to move. And if shit moves and you don't like the way it moves because the sun ain't come out, then you don't feel some type of way, then everything is wrong.
Hey, the moment you said that, you probably people's motherfucking minds, you a motherfucker popped up in everybody's mind like goddamn iPhone message, like bloop 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 bloop. I was like, wait, this is deep. Bloop, 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 bloop. This motherfucker's so centered. That's what it is. I don't like your ass. Thank you. Like, whoop, 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 whoop. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
If y'all don't mind, man, I'm gonna bring that back to the chakra because that's what made me think about that, man.
Okay.
That's crown chakra work, right? So, when you get into that crown chakra work, like we was talking about on the last bill, you got to be ready for what your soul is dishing out. If you ain't been communing with your soul, then all that stuff you've been asking for, desiring, or wanting, or working for, subconsciously or on the slide, it's going to be coming to you, and you're going to be like, "Why is this happening?" Right? But if you know what you're about, you're going to know why it's happening because you called for it. So, in the effort, let me not say effort. Let me watch what I'm saying here. In an attempt to know thyself, this to me, that what you just said, Rob, about being selfish versus self-centered, kind of to me is the work of the crown chakra, or at least some of the work, the base work. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can be selfish to the point where you are enhancing your energy, your mood, your vibe, so that then you can go out into the world and be able to radiate that to those around you, then to me, it's all worth it. When you become self-centered, even though you might be in touch with yourself and be self-centered, if you ain't radiating that, man, I hate sounding love and light, man. But if you ain't radiating that love and light, if you ain't radiating that peaceful soul presence that comes with knowing yourself, then yeah, I look at that as self-centered, right? If you just about you and nobody else. So to me, that's like the work. That's the crown chakra work right there. At least part or the beginnings of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's perfect because self-centered is self-centered is the antithesis. It's the exact opposite of this work with the crown chakra. Okay, so self-centered.
Can you break it down in the basic?
Please. All right, that's what I was just about to do. If you want to take me for example, all right, let's use me for an example. All right, me being self-centered within this work would mean that I can't accomplish this work, or this work can't be accomplished unless I'm involved, right? So Chakra Nova, Alchemic Academic, ColumbianExchange.com, February 20th, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If I was self-centered, I would say, you know what? That show ain't gonna start until I get there. So I get there when I get there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
you taking jabs at me for being late, man?
No. I'm just saying, like, if I'm just using myself as an example, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm using myself as an example, Chakra Nova don't exist without Sacred Serpent, so fuck all this shit. You dig what I'm saying? But if I'm being selfish, I'm going to say, if I'm being selfish, it's going to be, I'm going to make sure I have all of my research in. I'm going to make sure I have all of my practices down, and I'm going to make sure that I'm prepared, willing, and able when we kick off this next class on the 20th at 5 p.m. Word. You dig what I'm saying? The flip side of that would be, man, this shit ain't going to work unless I go anyway, so it don't even matter. That's self-centered versus selfish.
Yeah.
I see it. I see self-centered like ego-centered, and selfish being
that's it right there.
Being soulish. Sometimes the word self gets confused. So you got selfish.
This neighbor just coined another term.
Did I say?
You need to say it again. You gonna say it again?
I can't even say it again because I don't even know what I said. I'm thinking. I'm in a stream.
Being being truly selfish is being soulless.
Yeah, because it get confusing, right? People still have the semantics, and the semantics create a block. So you say self-centered, you might say ego-centered, lower self-centered, fear-centered, right? Because where does it lie in your self-centeredness, your attachment to whatever it is that you're experiencing, that you're afraid to lose, is a fear.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Soulish is centered out of love. So generally the conversation where I might say something really crazy, right? And people get really mad. And then I'll be like, well, I love you though. I care for you. And I didn't mean to hurt you. But I understand that we need to be closer to one another. And I see a fucking garbage pail, right? So I was like, it would be cool if you remove that garbage pail so we can like really catch a vibe. It kind of fucking stinks around this bitch. You understand? Flies is flying around. I can't. Y'all ever got comfortable like that? Some of y'all nasty. Some of y'all do be getting comfortable like that. But I don't. I don't at all. So emotion, no. Some men will be around you. Some dudes will be around you, and you are fucking infested with emotional fucking gunk, right? And they're so fucking deprived. They'll say, it doesn't bother me, you know, it just stinks like shit, but whatever, you know. Because emotional is tangible. We feel it, we sense it, we notice it. So when you tap into your love, you're really saying, I'm going to do the thing that serves my greater good. And when we're in relationships, that is the most scariest thing to our partners. So we have to be very conscious of and intricate and delicate about the way that we walk and the way that we talk and the way that we carry ourselves, because we love our partners, but our actions are so confusing to our partners. But the reality, the double twist is that guess who created that environment? You understand? Because we could have been men the whole time and said, this is how I want it. This is how I need it. But see, at the beginning, we was like little babies, and we needed her to validate us, right? So we was letting shit slide because we were insecure as fuck. You know what I mean? You know? And so she invests her love and her pussy power into our being, and we expand and grow like a fucking plant, right? And now we start smelling our ass and our farts and shit like, that don't smell that bad, do it? No. And so we just, you know, protrude ourselves, and we gotta always remember, you can't ever break up out of your motherfucking coffee pot or your flower pot, right? You know what I'm saying? Because once you get too big for your flower pot, then everybody dies. So you generally have to be very careful with the women that you love. And they're like, I can be very dogmatic and very logical with my shit, but you know, the creator is a cold motherfucker, boy. He said,
Cold.
"Oh, you thought you was gonna logic your way through this bitch? Okay, here come the woman that you love with emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever logic I come with is like, but I'm hurt. I am sad. Okay.
Oh, right.
Hey, Alexa.
You ain't got no answer.
Play Brian McKnight.
What
back
is
at one. We back at one.
Yeah.
Cause one, your life come true.
Yeah.
Two,
That is absolutely right. You absolutely fucking right.
Girl is playing to see. You got to start from the beginning. Because that emotion, it takes you at the root of your relationship, you know. Now, logic,
I always love it.
It just sounds good. You know, it sounds good.
It do. Yeah, it do.
But it don't matter in your relationship, my guy. Creator is funny, bro.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Yeah. That's why I always laugh at the individuals, which are mostly males. I always laugh at the men who love to fall back on logic and reasoning. You know, you know when logic and reasoning goes out the window, when that pussy talking to you. Okay, when
y'all ever had the lips go like this, like waves?
That's when all logic and reasoning goes out the window, my nigga. Like, we gotta be real about this. Like, we can do this logic and reasoning shit to you in the face, right? And we'll be right all the way down the board. But how many times in your life has you being right actually benefited you? With your woman. With your woman.
Zero.
In life, in general. Being right don't matter. It ain't what you know, it's who you know. It ain't what you know, it's who you know. So now that I'm in a new city, I can't imagine myself not creating relationships, but relationships is easy, but you can't be a bitch. You got to say, hey, my name's Kyrie. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. How you doing? Okay. Yeah. Hi, my name's Kyrie. How you doing? You know, you got to be out here. You got to feel good about your shit. You feel me? But if you like not that, you generally will falsify your experience with other experiences, and you generally get to the crux that I'm at now, where I've been could have lived in my truth. I just was a pussy about it. I was just a scared person about it.
Right.
But as I go within myself, I can't be mad at my wife because I felt this way the whole entire time. The reality, if I'm gonna see, this is a thing. Like, I'm not gonna look at the relationship. This is how I'm growing up. Yeah, I'm growing up, and I'm like, I was wrong a lot of times. You feel me? I made mistakes a lot of times. So I do like, well, shit, you can't be mad. You gotta be accountable for your mistakes and figure it out in the present, you know? And it's just like, it's good, it's beautiful, but it's not easy and it's not simple. So it's good to have these conversations because this crown chakra work must be real, right? If we both have this conversation and we both in the same vibration, because you telling me a situation, I'm like, shit, I just got out the car, dude. Like, I'm still having, but I don't feel bad about it. You ever had a conversation and you feel like residually affected? I feel like speaking my truth, but gentle, sophisticated. Maybe it's not resonating, but I'm attempting to have it hit a, I don't know. What do you think about logic versus emotions?
Man, I think it's like yin and yang. I think they're the dynamic opposites of the universe that keep existence in balance, and you can't have one without the other, because you got to have some kind of desire or feelings about something enough to be able to form the logic of it. You got to like it. If you forming logic about something, you got to feel some kind of way about it, no matter how dry and cold the logic is. And if you got any kind of emotions, any kind of feeling about something, then what's going to happen is that feeling is like yin, and it's going to expand and expand. And the more you have that feeling about something, if somebody going to say some logical to you, And your answer is going to come instantly from that yin space. Like, what you mean you ain't getting nothing for Valentine's Day?
Right. Okay. So the logic is, I told her that we don't celebrate Valentine's Day, but the emotion is, I expect something for Valentine's Day.
What did I walk in on? What did I walk?
No, we still in the same.
Okay. I thought this was the Twilight Zone. Okay.
Nah, bro, you good. It's like, did they go back in time? we talking about emotion versus logic, and I told Hood, to me they're like yin and yang. They're like the two dynamic opposites of the universe, right? But in order to have logic, you have to have devoted study to something, which means you got to like it to some degree. You got to have some kind of desire.
But not to interrupt, but I have to interject. For the emotion and the logic to be the yin and the yang, that would actually mean that they actually need to go together, correct? Because the yin and the yang need to go together.
Yes.
Logic and reason does not. That and
logic
emotion
and emotion
does not need to go together.
Logic and emotion.
They do not need to go together.
In the quotient,
they
for
don't
love,
need to go together, but
in
they
the
can.
Quotient for love.
I know they can.
If you're making a love sandwich, you gotta have.
If you're making a love sandwich, you gotta have logic and emotion.
Yeah, that's what you can't.
Yeah, man.
You gotta have some sort of.
Okay. I just want to know where we're going. All right, I just want to know where we're going. Carry on.
No, we making love sandwiches. You understand? So, like Salt Bay, a little bit of love, a little bit of emotion.
Yep.
Functionality.
So, to me, it's like, yep. Yes, sir. So with emotions, it's like the energy. That's like Shakti. I can so see that like Shakti, and logic, being like Shiva, man, because Shakti has the power. I don't care what kind of logic you come with. Like you said earlier, no matter what kind of logic you come with, that emotion can come with a response that totally knock it off balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you can integrate those two things, and like you said, come up with I got to tell my truth, right? So now comes the moment of truth. I got to tell my truth. How do I tell it? Do I tell my truth having worked on my other chakras and coming out in a balanced way? Do I tell my truth having not worked on my other chakras and come out in some kind of, I don't know, rough and tumble way? You know what I mean? Can I be gentle with my truth, but yet firm? Can I tell what I got to tell and maintain, don't betray my. Yeah, go ahead, Rob. Go ahead, man.
No. I'm just letting you know I wanted to talk. Go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off.
Yeah. So basically, can I? It's like if I have to project my truth on how I feel in my soul, then it comes back to what I was asking you earlier, Ra. If I know myself and I have to be honest with myself, then how far do I go to make that honesty taste sweet to somebody else? Or do I even have to? Can I just come out with it any kind of way?
Depending on your intentions, big bro.
Like
are your intentions pure enough to the point that you would not care on the other end either way? Or are your intentions preferential to a particular response that you are actually looking for instead of? You understand what I'm saying?
Abraham Hicks looking ass boy.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
hate that nigga. I swear.
You said you want to fuck
That's
with
on
me.
point, man.
Oh my gosh.
Like we lost Hood. Let's. So Supreme Melanoidus asked, "Can awakening the Kundalini hurt?" I feel like I had an experience today. So, let me wait. So Hood, I'm gonna try and tackle Supreme Melanoidus's question, man. In some cases, yes, right. What it means is that wherever you feel pain or tension or knotted up, where that energy doesn't get like a free passage around your body, that just means that area you have to pay more attention to. It doesn't mean plow through it. Okay. Sometimes it means you got to cradle the area and work it slowly. So two things. One, if you're doing any type of Kundalini exercises, because when we talk about the chakra nova stuff, we're really trying to hold space for the vibe of the chakra, right? But yes, once we hold space for the vibe of the chakra, your Kundalini, your life force is going to rise through them. If there's any place where you feel like tension, hurt, soreness, things of that nature, then I say first things first, you have to ground, right? Keep your feet on the ground, keep your tongue at the palate of your mouth, right? And allow the energy to go down the front of your body, up your spine, and circulate, right? And if that's feeling kind of like, too rough, like there's a spot where you're hurting or where it's feeling blocked, then just breathe normally and allow yourself throughout your day-to-day to kind of focus on that spot. What can you do to move your body to make that spot feel more comfortable? What can you do if it's associated with an organ? If it's associated with an organ or part of your back, so let's say if it's associated with your liver, right? Drink less, have more fruit juice. When I say drink less, I mean alcohol. Have more fruit juice or salads, fresh fruits and vegetables to help your liver, right? If it's a spot on the back, maybe get a massage. If you can't get a massage, get a tennis ball and lay down on it, try and work it out yourself, right? But whatever that is where you feel that hurt, you got to smooth it out. It's a jagged road because you might have had some emotional stresses, past experiences in life that made you feel jagged about that energy going through that chakra space. Play with it, work it out, massage it, rub it, learn it, right? Yeah. I don't know if that answers your question well, but
Shout out to Supreme Melanoidness. I really appreciate it.
Shout out.
That question.
She been hanging.
I just want to say one short thing. I'll let Hood answer because I know he has
go
something
ahead.
more.
I don't got nothing to say.
I got something really short to say. I just want to say I appreciated her asking that question right now at this time because that question actually ties back into every single one of the people that we've had as a stringer honor, so to speak, that I would label them as these classes has transpired month after month. We've always had one or two or maybe five individuals that have wanted to just take the class from where it was at and just skip everything else and just jump straight to the top. Well, there are instances in which your Kundalini rising can hurt you. Is if you activate something and you are practicing something and you are implementing certain rituals within your body, you are awakening certain dormant energies that exist that have not been played with ever. And if you do that by skipping steps and going straight to your eye chakra, straight to your crown chakra, then your Kundalini waking up will hurt you. It probably will because your body is never experienced it anymore. It has never experienced it before, and it's going to have to go through those other channels, all of those channels that you skip, in order to get to the point that you actually reactivate it. So, like I said, I just wanted to say that I really appreciate her asking that question. But yes, that is one of the residual effects of skipping this work, shortchanging this work, and cutting corners on this work. You can go ahead and activate any one of your chakras. You can go ahead and reactivate any one of your chakras you want to. But if you start jumping all around like 5, 2, 7, 2, and 1, then, I mean, what
you're gonna feel it.
repercussions are the repercussions. You know what I'm saying? So if you awaken something
Yeah.
that's dormant, it's gonna have to transmute itself somewhere. So that energy has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah. So definitely do your deep breathing, do your grounding, start with that root chakra work. Always come back to that. That's your physical connection to the earth, to Mother Earth. And that is the only way you're gonna really dump massive amounts of energy away from your body. I shouldn't say the only. That is the most efficient way for your body to dump any excess energy, is to be in touch with Mama Earth. And water. Thank you. As Hood Mystic is pointing out right now, if you ain't hydrated,
that don't look like water. That don't look like water. That don't look like water.
Yeah, that's right. This is a 40, man. No.
If you ain't hydrated, your electricity can't flow well, right? So what you're pushing is really bioelectricity. Okay. I don't mean to make it sound mystic or anything, right?
You got to make it simple.
Chakra.
You got to make it simple.
Right.
You got to make it simple. It is what
you're pushing. You pushing energy. So you got to stay hydrated. And if you don't stay hydrated, then your energy channels can't push that energy well.
It's going to suck. Like you gotta overdo it. You can't just be like, and don't get defensive, because this is for like pain and hydration can't exist in the same space. So generally, if I hear it and I sense with it, I meditate with you and be like, all right, what is it? What is it? And I'll be like, well, it just came to me like water. So I'm like, boom.
Yeah.
Overtake your water. And then as you really intaking the water at a high level, you can kind of feel that pain and it'll be like, whoosh. And then it mixes. It creates like a fucking tonic with your Shakti. It's like it's like a Kool-Aid or something. You feel me? And it's like, and it allows you to be in a particular bliss type nectar. Now, without the water, it's just like, trying to start a goddamn car without no gas in it. It's just gonna start choking.
No,
it's gonna be like, it's like, damn, that it sound like it hurt. Your car ever ran out of goddamn oil? It'd be like, like, damn, ouch. You know what I'm saying?
You know what?
You know
what the stove eye does when you take the stuff off the stove, but you leave the eye on, and it ain't doing nothing. It's just on. That's it. It's just on. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it has to go somewhere. So it's just like sitting there, just burning a hole in that one area. You know what I'm saying? So
you ain't got no pot cooking. You ain't got no water on there.
Yes. You're not doing nothing with it, but it's just on. You know what I'm saying? So
dope.
Kunda is boiled water, so it's more or less of that too. That's what the etymology is, boiled water.
And just to add to your sandwich theory, your love sandwich theory, I think
that's good eating. That's good eating.
I kind of
sleep on the love sandwich.
I kind of feel like accountability. I kind of feel like accountability and transparency would be better. I just kind of feel that way.
I just kind of feel. Alexa, play Lucy and Lil Webby swerve.
But that's still logic, man. That's still logic. Accountability.
I mean, it's an extension of logic, but transparency doesn't have to be logical.
But
it's just requiring me to tell you everything that's going on. There is
why
though?
It
doesn't have to have. No, what I'm saying is that it doesn't have to have an emotion. Transparency just requires me to tell you everything that is going on.
But why would you do that for anybody if you didn't feel any kind of way about them?
People have been doing that since the beginning of time. It's called relationships. Like, that's what we're talking about here.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying, big bro?
Like,
that's what we're talking about here. You know what I'm saying? Like, people been doing that since the beginning of time, and they still in relationships.
Yes, sir. Yeah. That's all I was getting at, that you ain't doing that for a stranger in the street.
Me and Hood had this talk about 2 days ago. I'm going to the Kroger, and I'm trying to figure this thing out, right? And I'm breaking down Kevin Samuels and all of his stuff, right? And I say to Hood, I was like, I kind of feel like the accountability issue is the one thing that women will never understand or never care to want to understand. And his first response, and the quick-ass response was, There's no value in it. And it pondered me. I pondered on that shit for like 3 hours. Like, because it's so profound. Like, there's no value in it for a woman to be accountable. There's no value. So when the man just wants you to admit what you did wrong,
hold on, calm down. Wait. Because listen though, this is very simple. This is very simple because your emotions will throw people off of the actual fine point that you reach. I'm gonna interrupt you, but let me. All right. Because
you're right.
because say for instance, right? It was a story, like a movie, a blockbuster, Tyler Perry, one of a kind movie for every time a woman came across a good guy. We would just do movie after movie after movie after movie. Yeah. The shit would just be never ending, right? Just good black men on theater. But that's not the case. Tyler Perry is very specific with his imagery, and his mass media is being broadcasted in churches, in schools, in homes, all across the planet. So when it's related of what a black man is, the dominant narrative is that we are violent, we are untrustworthy, we are dirty, rotten scoundrels.
And we know how to dress up like women.
Listen. It's some dirty, rotten scoundrel black men out there. Don't get me wrong, because I'm not throwing out the whole baby with the bathwater here. No. I'm not saying that.
There's too many pockets. There's too many pockets. Go ahead.
Yeah, but what I am saying, I'm in Detroit. I be at the fucking Kroger. I be at any store you name, the bank. Wherever you go, where people is at, is strong, black, respectable men holding it the fuck down. They looking good, they smelling good, they driving good, they smoking good, they enjoying their fucking life.
I saw four today. You
don't hear the story. You don't hear their story though. So the point that you're making is that there are good men that you don't get the vibration for, you don't get the normalcy of, what's today's date? It's the 13th. And you know what the 13th mean? Threesomes for good niggas that don't cheat and hold the bills down. The checks cleared, the bills paid. Susan, you know what time it is. It's time for Big Daddy to get his treyway. Right?
Hold up. What's the name of that movie where they get a boy a week off and he can get to sleep with anybody for a week off? What's that called? What's that show called? So we giving out those now? Hold on. So if I don't eat for a dime straight, I get treyway? Hold up. Stop.
So you would never get a positive energy on the positive side, like extravagant blockbuster. Let's invest money in telling the story of the positive male. So when you reference accountability, you don't even got to be excited about it. You don't even got to prove a point. You could just fold your hands and wait and say, I'll wait for the positive images of people like me to catch up to the negative images to people like me. And don't expect me because LeBron James I'm just a regular guy. I make $20,000 a year and there's nothing wrong with me. Or I make $50,000 a year. There's nothing wrong with me. It's like I'm a barber. There's nothing wrong with me. I take care of my children. There's nothing wrong with me. I think we have to normalize this because when you say accountability has no value, the valuable story is to get a movie piloted about the destruction of the black family, right? That's the value. Companies will pay you if you'll say, this is the song that I got out about Percocets. How you like it? Percocets. I take Percocets every day. I take Percocets every way. Okay, let's get that money. All right, let's shoot a video. Let's get some big booty girls, So generally, that's what value is. What a person will invest in. what a person will invest in, what a person will show you. So accountability doesn't have no value because you're not hearing a story where it's like saying, let's just normalize. Like, I understand that it might be some negative energy males out here that carry a frequency.
Yeah.
But let's have a whole big deal about just regular dudes that's holding it down, that's ready for love, that's holding their family down, so forth and so on. Let's give it a whole year where we just celebrating, bigging them up, giving them money, just showering them with all types of energy, because otherwise they won't necessarily get that. So in order to find value, you got to actually create value. But you be swerving though.
That was a conversation we had. Well, I was about to say,
talk about chakras.
I was about to say for the people in the chat, I apologize, but that was a part of the conversation that wasn't finished from before, and then I got disconnected, and I was just trying to finish that point off. I did not mean to swerve and jump and hula hoop and do dodgeball games. Like, I do apologize. Back to your regular scheduled program, please.
No, you perfect though. I like it because it generally
but that ties
speaks
in.
to truth.
That ties in.
How does it tie in?
Because I just felt like the reason why I pondered on it so long when he said that to me, I said to myself, there's all kinds of value in accountability. The problem is the value is not in something that you're going to physically count out with your hand. The value is in the reinforcements that will be encouraged and created throughout a relationship. Okay, because the more accountable, yes, because the more accountable you are to your partner, and the more transparent you guys are together. Now you don't walk into a room wondering what could be or what's going on, or if I'm the only one that doesn't know what's happening. No, because my man,
that don't matter, bro. That don't matter. Let me tell you, all of that, like what Prime had told you, bro. That's all logic. That's all logic. Emotion, like you could be the most transparent brother. You could be the most upstanding brother. It's dudes where they like their wife is like pissed off, and they're like, man, you know how she is, bro. Like, all right, we about to go. All right, then, my dude, I'll holler at you tomorrow, man, because his wife tripping or whatever. It don't matter, bro. You don't gotta actually have a logical point to go against emotion. Emotion is power. And when they say like you don't never really understand a woman, I thought I was like, I think that I'm a logical fucking master, bro. I done wrote a books, you feel me? I think like I'm talking to my wife and we fucking logical out this bitch, bro. I'm slow to that point. You'll never understand a woman, and you never undervalue. You don't overvalue your logic in comparison to her emotion. That's where you fuck up. If she not happy, your shit ain't happy, bro. You ain't right and exact, and you don't even know. It's just the fucking ocean waves is fucking sloshing and shit. It's a fucking hurricane going on.
That should be the aroma, nigga. That should be the aroma, nigga. You roll over and go to the bathroom and be like, something not right in this house. And you just know it. It just be your woman, bro. Like, you just know it, bro. Yeah. You're right.
You gotta find out why she's right,
exact. See, but that's
you gotta figure it out.
That's the logical side of me that keeps trying to push the accountability issue.
You're trying to find a logical point that's going to exist outside of this love sandwich.
Where that thing has never existed within this dynamic until today. Like, just because we having this conversation, it ain't going to exist in niggas' relationships tomorrow. Like, your chick is still going to hold a bunch of shit from you. Your nigga is still going to hold a bunch of shit from you. That's just how y'all been living. I do apologize for bringing this back up. Every time that nigga duck his phone, you duck your phone. You get an attitude because he want the code. You get an attitude because she want the code. Blah, 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 blah. I apologize. I did not.
There's nothing that you can say.
For Valentine's Day for y'all. I apologize.
Yeah, it's nothing that you can say.
You could,
no thought. Go ahead.
Yep. No, it comes because that comes back to the selfish or soulless. Or soulfish, soulfish. Lord have mercy.
Soulfish. That sounds like a TV.
Soulfish. That sounds like a TV show.
Soulfish.
I feel like Don Cornelius should be on that joint. Or his son, Don Cornelius Jr.
Welcome to the soul finish. Go ahead. But you were saying something about it, bro. I don't want to miss your point.
Yeah, but to me it ties back in, right? Because because again, I keep hearing y'all say the same thing, right? And it's what Ross said. It's like you gotta care about somebody. You gotta care about building a relationship. And if you care about building that relationship, then you're gonna take some time to be selfish or soulish in order to be happy, so that you can have the energy to help out in your relationship, so that you can be an active participant in your relationship. I heard a good saying, because somebody was arguing about how people keep saying happy wife, happy life. And he was like, what about the brothers? And somebody wrote, happy spouse, happy house.
That's always been the problem.
Happy spouse, happy house, because that can go either way, right? Now you both people involved. You say happy spouse, happy house. What's up with that?
Mm-hmm. Y'all can have it.
Like
happy
you see,
wife,
yeah,
happy
y'all
life.
can have all that. Y'all can have all that.
Rhetoric.
All I'm saying is, do you see these dynamics that these fucking concepts that humans create, force motherfuckers to live by? Do you see that shit that you just said? Holy fucking cow!
My thing is, it's not complicated. It's not rocket science.
It's not even that complicated, bro.
No.
It should never even be that complicated, bro.
Mm-mm.
Like, why do we have to go into the left drawer on the 10th floor, all the way down there in the right corner, back around the edges? Like, why do we got to do all of that?
That's what you be doing, though. So y'all be just trying to bring you. I be like,
logic.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what?
You're very logical. You're very logical.
I don't want your Thanos update right now. Okay, I don't want your Thanos update.
All right, man. Because you know, when I get off this live, I ain't gonna be running downstairs like Rambo or nothing. I'm gonna walk down the stairs real quiet, and the thing I'm gonna do is look at my wife and I'm gonna look at her face. And if I see her face look happy, then I'm like, okay, I'm cool. That's right. Like lioness on the premises and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go downstairs. I'm gonna see how she doing. Period. That's just how it is.
But the logic, but let me
I hate about being so empathic. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But the logic that you create in the relationship and the communication and the imprints that you create to kind of like create that stream through that emotion is what I'm learning, because I generally can't take the thing that I did yesterday for granted if she's unhappy today. So generally I could be like, girl, I done did this, that, and the third. But then I'm actually being that person that I hate. I'm holding things against her and I'm not actually solving the problem. So I'm just like, okay, I gotta still find the words. And I'm like, okay, I hear myself like speaking in analogies, and I'm also like my wife,
accountability.
My wife don't like that. So I'm just like, all right, let me speak in my direct voice and use adjectives and verbs and hit my points straight. You know what I'm saying? And I think we created a better conversation today. But, like I said, everybody don't like me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody not going to receive me the way that I hope to be received. So generally, I have to adjust accordingly.
It's not supposed to. It's not supposed to.
But here's where it ties
you're
back
unique.
Ross
you're unique. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
Right. Everybody's different, but it ties back into the crown and what you said, Ross, intentions, right? Because when I think of the crown chakra, that's what I think of as intentions. Your third eye is how you want to see your intentions played out. But to bring in the concept from your soul that cradles your intentions, that's your crown chakra, right? But then it's still on you to determine what your intentions are, right? That's that compass. So that's why I say, to me, your intention, whether it be with your relationship, whether it be with your work, whether it be with whatever project you're working on, your web page, your audience, whatever book you're writing, your intention, how do you train that to be in accordance with your true self? How do you keep your intention in line with your true self?
Right, because but no, listen, because sometimes you can say this is the problem with people. They'll have an intention already mapped out before they come into the spiritual work, right? And generally that'll be in our relationships. I imagine that my relationship like, you know me, I'm always talking about my relationship, and then in reality, it might not be manifesting like I'm talking in this, and then I panic, like people gonna call me a fraud, like we supposed to be happy, and then I get into my panic mode, you know what I'm saying? But generally, I have to then realize, like, okay, be present, you know,
we're all on a journey.
Rely on everything that's taking place to just be okay or be normal and be an aspect of it, and don't really get into my fear body.
Let it unfold.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? Just really being peaceful about everything. And I guess in the midst of the fire, what I'm noticing is that it's changing the vibratory frequency, because then I'm looking at my wife's emotion and I see it ain't rocking her to sleep. You know what I'm saying? It's more of like a balance. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, this is how I gotta continue this flow. Like, you know what I'm saying? To stand in my truth, but not be logical and be like, I'm right. So I'm right. You know what I'm saying? So generally, like
that's the equivalent of flying by instrument. Airplanes, like when you flying and you up in the sky and you ain't got nothing but clouds around you, right? You can't see the runway, you can't see the ground. All you can do is fly by instrument, right? And to me, that's like rocking with your crown chakra. If all you can do is fly by your code of life, your code of living, your intentions, your code, I don't know what you want to, you know what I'm saying? Everybody got a way they want to be. And if that way lines up with their soul, then that's how they're going to be flying, because all their instruments are going to be in line.
Okay.
But if their subconscious is doing something and their intentions are doing something else, and their soul is like, no, we should go this way. Like, I ain't listening to you, soul. You got all kinds of instruments in your cockpit going all different ways.
Then your goddamn waist
crown chakra.
You need to make up your mind, player. You need to make up your mind, player.
Sneaks leaning to the side, you out here looking a hot mess because you ain't in full alignment with your intentions and your soul.
Yeah, you out here doing somersaults, talking about the spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're doing too much right now. Yeah,
exactly. And that's actually the point, releasing that expectations, because your soul like would know where to go, right? You know?
Yeah.
But when you get to that point of understanding and recognizing within your soul that thing, that question doesn't even come up. You understand? Like the direction is already picked for you. You just suddenly know where to go. It's not one of those things where you're gonna see an arrow is gonna pop up like, yeah, go ahead, player. Yeah, go ahead, player. Like, no, it's gonna be one of those things. It'll be a real subtle nod, and you'll understand it within your own consciousness. Like, yeah, all right, I'm supposed to go here. I'm supposed to do this.
It could even be like a plan. Like, tomorrow I'm supposed to kick it with the guys. Well, as you go tomorrow, kick it with the guys, your soul is like, you're going to meet Shireen over here. You're going to meet Lisa over there. You know, you're going to bump into Cheryl over there. So where you thinking like you just hanging out with the guys, your soul has a different set of...
It's line shit up for you.
Yeah. That's how I notice it. That's how I play it.
Tell me that ain't crown chakra. Tell me that ain't crown chakra.
That's absolute crown chakra, and it's eerie because it's crazy, because it also points to a foundational point of Tantra.
What's that?
When it's called renunciation. You know,
wait a second. All right,
one of the first.
I went to public schools. One of
the first principles of Tantra is renunciation or renunciation, when you renounce yourself and you give 100% to everyone else.
Wait a second.
You got a completely different relationship with yourself, with you and yourself, but you have another relationship between you and everyone else. So when you eliminate the self-centeredness, the ego-centeredness, when you eliminate the grasping mind, the wanting mind, the needing, the desire mind, and then you eliminate the judgment mind, now you're in now you're behind, or you're outside of samsara, which is your animal desires.
Wait
So
a second. This boy be reading books. Hold up.
so when you renounce, so when you renounce, samsara, that's basically saying that you are going to renounce your lower half, and you're just going to live in your higher half. You're going to live in your soul purpose half. So yeah, that shit ties in perfectly, bro. That shit connects with Tantra, bro.
Because and ultimately, the thing about Tantra versus what do they call it? Vedanta? I don't know if I'm saying it right. I always mess it up. Vedanta is like you going totally within and saying nothing is me, nothing is me, nothing is me. Tantra is like you are deeply involved in every aspect of your life. But like Ross said, the trick with when I say trick, the
key
caveat or the key, thank you. The key to that though is that you're not taking any of it personally. Because if you don't take it personally, then you're living outside of the realm of ego, which means you fully experience life. When you go to smell a flower, you're not judging it. You're not thinking about what's going to happen after you smell it. You're just smelling the flower, experiencing that life, and having your consciousness be at one with your experience as opposed to your judgment of the experience or your ego of the experience or anything else, right, is what you're aiming for. Being at one with what you've called to yourself in the realm of experience can also lead you to enlightenment. And that's that tantric path. Enlightenment just being you getting more and more used to not relying on ego, not relying on mind, not relying on judgment.
The mantra that comes in my mind, the mantra that comes in my mind as you're saying it is the way that you live in Tantra is you thank people for letting them let you love them. Thank you for letting me love you.
Yes.
Thank you for letting me love you. Thank you for letting me love you. Thank you for letting me love you. And that mantra is tantric in nature.
Yes, because it's putting the onus on the principle of loving something other than thyself, and that's so profound. You know what I'm saying? Like to be able to say, that you can do that without any strings attached. You know what I'm saying? Like that's so profound to me.
Because what else was happening? Because in the relationship,
who does that?
In the relationship,
how many Mickey Piggies actually are doing that? No strings attached. I love you. You coming over tonight?
Yeah, but I love you, but.
Okay, my bad.
No, you're good. Because what brought that about was the fact of being in a relationship with the goddess, right? And at the beginning of the relationship is the mantra when you're with her. Thank you for letting me love you. 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 And we forget that. We know that that's what our relationship is centered on. But generally, we begin to tie into our ego or that residual ego energy that has to fucking get the fuck out of here, right? You usually can't stay here any longer. It's clinging to that last residual, like, no, I don't want to leave. You're doing the real chakra work, bro. You're doing it for real. You ain't have to do it for real, I'm gonna have to leave. I can't. I had a fucking lush bedroom suite in your brain, my nigga. I was taking over. Now you're fucking kicking me out. I want to be here. I want to stay. And then you just say,
"Oh man,
thank you for letting me love you," and you release that as well.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying. You release it all because from that perspective, right? You feel as though my crown chakra is activated. And I am the well that is overflow. I'm a fountain. I'm just an overflowing well of spiritual energy. And generally you live in that truth. And if you find that truth in every walk of your life, and when people have trouble with you, you release them, but you always release them with the mantra, thank you for letting me love you, because the first step, you don't want to accept anything, right? You don't want shit, right? You just want to renunciate the need for receiving, because that's what's holding us back.
I gotta thank Hood for getting me into a tantric fucking foundation 2 years ago.
I you to do that.
You were studying that.
You know I got the files. I play the files. Like the nigga told me I needed to be a Hood tantric massage therapist. Like he told me I needed to dress up in Tim's and a ski hat.
I did.
I swear.
With no shirt on, with oil.
Y'all right now. I swear. I swear, just the belt.
Just walk around.
Belt, like,
just like, walk around with oil.
You know how much money you make if you was just a Hood tantra nigga? I said, oh my God. I said, yo, I just met you, but I was already about to order my massage table. He was like, get that shit, son. Get that shit, son. And I started the fucking tantra fucking foundation like 2 years ago. So thanks to Hood for that.
Yep.
But yeah, I think the most important part of about that foundation is, not to cut you off, big homie. The most important part about that foundation is teaching an individual in Tantra how to worship another individual outside of the context of you being beneath that individual. So when he says, thank you,
you
for
know how
letting
many
me,
people
thank you
that,
for letting me love you. Thank you for letting me love you. Like, I get to worship you without me feeling like I'm beneath you. And you get to worship me without you feeling you are beneath me.
Whatever feeling arises, you thank it for letting you love it, because what you're doing is identifying, but what you should be doing is renunciating everything. And excuse me for using the word "should," but you brought the fucking shit up. So
okay, you
open the fucking door. So you know, the ability to let it all go is your ability to stay in union with that ideological thought and see how it goes for you. Generally, maybe it don't work, but I find that you at least got to give it a space. Like, even in every aspect, if a person is struggling right now with anything, you are struggling with negative vibrations that are very comfortable in your being. So bring it into the chakra work, like to fully realize your chakra. Because I was waiting for like the realization of, okay, what does it feel like? It feels like you're releasing your ego of expectation. But you realize, like, oh, bitch, there you go, motherfucker. I caught your ass because you backed it up into a corner this whole entire time. You know what I'm saying? You really doing your chakra work this whole entire time. You get it to the crown, and you're like, oh, shit. My fucking expectation of, I'm trying to make a great fucking chakra course, and I'm bringing my wife hell because I'm trying to do a good fucking chakra course. What is that, y'all? That's fucking expectation.
Yeah.
I didn't even see it, bro, until y'all was talking about it. Now I see it clearly. That bitch was comfortable in my being.
Sitting up there chilling. Like,
he's chilling. Like, I got this nigga. He expect to do good, and I got him. You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Damn.
It's crazy.
Is, man. Yeah, because it's moody to talk about that. It's beautiful to be able to have that moment where you can see that it is the mind or the ego with those expectations, and that it's not your true self. Because when you can see it, then it is no longer what you're identifying with. And if you're no longer identifying with that, then you're identifying with the one that is perceiving all of that. And every step you go back behind that screen is a step closer to your true perceiving nature, your true self, right?
Yes, your
That's
causal
that
body.
I amness. That's that crown. That's that crown work. That's what I'm saying. And you know, man, shoot, man.
Because we expect in our relationships to be a certain way that is not relating to us, but yet and still, that's that last energy of the ego to be where we are in a space of observing that we shouldn't even be expecting nothing. We should be observing and coming to aid. But what triggers us, what bothers us, is our ego, to which it has to. It can't. It's like, what is Shakti doing? It is like a fire. Well, what is it burning? It's burning that illusion. So what does the illusion look like? The illusion looks like the ego of expectation, to which it likes to exist. And I feel like to really go through this, and what is the personal jewel for me is to fucking it is me. I knew it because the whole time I'm talking to my wife, I'm like, maybe it's me. So don't take what I'm saying offensively. But I got a problem with this, you know, and I'm trying to articulate something, and I'm sounding like a fucking fool if I kind of go back in my mind, and she looking at me like, I thought we was having a good day, and I'm like, no, see, I'm having a problem. But now I'm seeing it as, oh, my ego was afraid of leaving, but it still gotta go because I see you causing trouble in my life. Did that make sense?
Yep. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
I got a question for you, though.
Yeah.
Was y'all breaking down expectations?
Man,
no,
yes,
no.
Because I was like, Rob, you need to come back up here.
Where was you at?
No. Every time this joint goes out, there's so many people on this damn Wi-Fi. This shit kicks me off. So I don't know. It only happens on this joint. So I don't know what it is. I'm not gonna say the name. So
you mind if I take a basic cut at that before you handle that, Rob? Because I feel like you can do that better, man.
I wasn't expecting that y'all needed me to do expectations, but go ahead. Go ahead.
I wasn't expecting that joke.
I know you wasn't. And Dreamwise said some real funny shit about you. See, Dreamwise said you look like the old girl from Watchmen. That's what he said. That's what Dreamwise said. Hood. He said you look like the old girl.
I've seen it. I'm expecting Prime to break down expectations.
We waiting on you. Like, listen. We waiting on you.
All right. So, for my take, right? Expectations is like, you know, sometimes you just have to watch. Like Ross said earlier, a good way to say it is sometimes you just have to watch life unfold, and that can be hard to do. I think the closest thing to watching life unfold would be like watching a sports game. Because you can have your thoughts of who you want to win, but you got to sit there and kind of watch it play out, right? But a lot of people don't treat their own lives that way. We know we want things. We know that we have our intentions, but instead of letting life play out and just kind of having that vibe of, hey, let me wait and see, it's that vibe of, nah, I can control this. Nah, I can tweak that button. Nah, I can have this rock'em sock'em robot controller. You know, I can do, Sometimes you just got to pull back and watch the damn game. Sometimes you just got to pull back and watch life unfold, but you maintain your intentions. And then sometimes life will exceed. I got to say, in my life, most of the times when I have sat back and held space for my intentions, life has exceeded my expectations. I thought I would be good with X, Y, Z, and life would be like, well, here's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, and X, Y, Z.
Yeah, that's not how you say your ABCs.
I don't know how to say my ABCs.
You was just taking me to church. You was just taking me to church just for a second.
Well, yeah, Hood said, well, okay.
You're taking me to church because it's like how you treat life, how you observe life. If you observe life from an observant point of view, you get so much more out of it in relation to what you directly want. It's so fucking crazy, right? Like to the person from the outside looking in, it might seem like I'm specifically asking for shit. I want this amount of feedback or whatever. I'm really tuning in to my love and my children and my wife and stuff, and shit just is happening for me. And I'm just observing shit. And the problem for me is whenever I have a fucking expectation of what I want, that's so much stressful for me. And if I start to thinking of any expectation, y'all family, understand this, Shamika, when I deal with any expectation, I'm anxious, I'm stressful, and I say, you know what, fuck it. It is what it is. It works out. Now you might say that's bad advice. You should really stress out over things. But for me, it's like to fully understand expectation is whenever I expect anything. And that could be with my wife, that could be with my kids. I be wanting stuff, but when I let it go and I look at my children like, man, you are just a child, and you is like real smart too. So you'll figure it out. Or it just always, if sometimes when you release expectation, you can see the future, right? Yeah. And if you can see the future, you know. But when you're expecting something, you're like pinpoint accuracy, like into this fucking tunnel vision, and now you can only see what you're expecting, and you're now watching the game, and now you basing it on if you win or you lose. But if you win, you ain't actually won shit because you could have observed, and the motherfucker that was going to win the game was going to win the game anyways. Whatever was going to happen was going to happen anyways. But observation, it changed. Can you explain observation in the space to changing the outcome?
Do you want me to do expectation or you want me to do observation?
I was hoping that
I want to hear expectations.
Expectation from you, but Prime, I was asking specifically about observation because I know he could make that.
Do you want me to wait?
relatable.
You want me to wait? I'll wait. I'll wait. I could wait.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hear this, Rob.
Go ahead.
All right. So first, I think if I can provide just a little bit of insight, I would say that if ideologically we can get you to disconnect your idea of having a goal with expectations, we can start there first. So I think what happens is a lot of people set goals. And because they set these goals and these goals are set high and they may have a particular amount of standards, whatever these standards may be, they decide that they then have to expect certain things to correspond in order for them to be able to say they are on that path to achieving that goal that they set for themselves. So if I can get you to understand that you don't have to connect your goal or the fact that you set yourself up with goals or the fact that you have aspirations to achieve certain goals, if I can get you to disconnect that from the expectation part, then we can have this conversation completely, because the expectation part is only coming from your judgment. The judgment part is only coming from your ego. That ego part is only coming from the part that is going to be non-existent when you activate and reactivate your crown chakra. So the further and further away you get away from the ego being able to allow to be allowed to set the stage like it always does, the ego is going to fight back. So the ego fights back with, you're not going to make that because you didn't reach this expectation. You're not going to make that because you didn't reach this expectation. but your expectations have absolutely nothing to do with the goals that you set for yourself. You just tell yourself
subtle,
that if
bro.
you don't expect certain things to happen, then you're not going to reach your goal. And that's all.
Man, or you could be emotionally attached to a result when the reality is that you're actually in the space of doing what you're supposed to be doing. Right? So expectations say, well, if you don't have 50 people sign up to this motherfucker, you a failure. Because the last one had 60 people. And I was literally sitting there like, shit, I need to go to get a room so I can fucking work on this shit. And these kids is not letting me work on this shit. They loud and you loud and everybody loud. And I need to work on this. But it's all centered in my fucking bullshit ass expectation. Because I did the class. I'm doing the work. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Everybody be sleep like hell. I work from 4 to 9. Peaceful in the motherfucker, listening to my jazz. Don't nobody bother me. Don't nobody care, and everything perfect. But my expectations will get into the middle of a blissful situation and fuck it up. That's what I know. That's what I'm realizing. That's what I can see.
You know what else? You know what else doesn't help your? You know what else doesn't help your expectations? The images that you put into your mind. So if you're scrolling on social media all day, you looking at people doing all kinds of fly shit. You looking at people having all kinds of fun, turning up, doing whatever. You are then psychologically and subconsciously going to place a unfair goal, or not even goal, just an unfair fucking prerequisite in your mind that you have to accomplish in order for you to seem like you are within the end social crowd, like you are doing what everybody else is doing. So these things get lumped into with your expectations. But if you're not feeding your mind those images, now I don't have these expectations to turn up. I don't need to put money to my ear. I don't need to show you my $80,000 car that I plug up to a pole. I don't need to, you know what I'm saying? I don't need to do none of this shit. But if I'm interacting with that shit all day, every day, then you damn right, subconsciously, that's something that I actually want to do because I'm fucking in it all day, every day.
God damn. God damn.
USA. USA. Ain't that what you supposed to do after a nigga say a speech? USA. USA.
Shit. Oh man. That was dope.
Good thing it's recorded, bro. It's recorded. You should chop that up.
Yeah, man.
It's important, bro, because I'm telling you, it's the shit that I didn't see this whole entire time till we had this conversation. We joking and we having a good time, but boy, oh boy, I did not see my expectations running my life. I didn't see it. I thought it was right and exact to expect and hold this particular energy.
It could never be. The only not that it could never be. The only reason that it couldn't be at this particular point is because we all still have a lot of the old guard within us. So even though we're doing all of these wonderful things right now that are completely transforming our lives, we still have a lot of the old guard residual effect shit in us. You dig what I'm saying? That shit doesn't go away overnight. Like people think that just because they want to be spiritual. Yeah, like people think that just because they want to be spiritual, they want to be conscious, or they want to do this with their life now, that because they made that decision, that now that they're it, and that's it. Like, work done, that's it. You know, let's mail this in, we got it. Like, you know, I'm spiritual, I'm a guru now, like, because I said I am. Like, you know, like, it's weird. You understand? But when you get to the crux of the situation and you understand that this is actually the hardest work you'll ever do in your life. This is the hardest shit you'll ever do in your life. All right. I'll put this up against any Marine corporal, anybody that trained in anything, Navy SEAL, Army Ranger. Like, I'll put this up against all of that. Yeah. All of that. Because them niggas ain't put together psychologically, but that's another story. You know what I'm saying? Like, I listen. This is the hardest shit you'll ever do in your whole fucking life, because this is something that nobody has ever taught you about. This is about you. This shit ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. It ain't got nothing to do with what you see on TV or whatever anybody else is fucking doing. This shit about you. That's it, bro.
And if
That's
you get
it,
to a
man.
point
That's
where
it.
like, but you got to clarify that, because within that, a person might feel like, well, I'm in cosmetology for myself. I go to school for myself. I watch this for myself. I do that for myself. So what do you mean this is for me? Can you clarify that?
This is for you because this is the only thing in the world that is going to teach you about you, about what's going on inside of you. You know, this stuff behind that skin. You know, this stuff around that heart, this stuff holding those veins together, this stuff that's piecing those nerves together. All of these things are corresponding and acting up inside of you. Do you have any idea what's going on within your body right now? This is it.
Your heart be talk like my heart, like during this process, my heart talked to me like, bruh, stop. Fam, what are you doing? But you in that lower self, bro, you just going. You start doing that heart chakra work, and it's just like, I'm very gentle with my life. Life matters to me, bro. Like, you know, it's different, bro. It's different.
Yes. And being tapped in, you know when to be delicate and when to be aggressive.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the whole thing. Like knowing when to be delicate and when to be aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's that tact.
That's balance.
That I was talking
that's
about.
Balance. That's balance. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
delicate and aggressive.
Well, that answers the first question. Do we got another question? Yeah. How to tactfully... What was the question?
You wanted Prom to answer something. You wanted Prom to answer something. Remember, Hood?
Observation changing the outcome.
Yeah. So, Lynn McTaggart wrote a very good book called The Field. I highly recommend that read because it's because of the
Put the name in the chat, big homie. Put the name in the chat.
Where's my... I might spell her name wrong, but if you look it up,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off. Just say it again. You ain't gotta look for it. Just say it again. I'll get it.
Well, I'm gonna try it, and you can fix it. I don't know how to spell her last name. It's something like that. But so anyway, I don't know if y'all remember. I know some young people in the chat, but some older people too. Slot machines in Vegas, right? They called it one-armed bandits, but it used to be all mechanical, and different people would sit in there and they would, figure out the machines, and eventually they'd learn how to play them. And it's the same thing with cards and dice. There's a field, the force. Let's keep it simple, that permeates everything, is in and around everything, and with enough practice, you can tap into that flow. Again, if you're not in your space of expectations, if you're not in your space of blaming other people for your life, if you're in a clear space, then you flowing. Just like if you perform some form of art, you DJing and you get into it, you in your zone, you zoning out. I guess that's the closest thing I would compare it to, is zoning out. So to observe and have your observation change the outcome of a situation means that you have already set the intention to have something from that situation come to you, or from this time span come to you. So here's how spirit is funny, right? You could be like, I want a car, and I want a house, and I want a spouse, right? And might be thinking, okay, I'm looking for the situation where I'm going to get them all at once. Like we were talking about expectations, right? But if you can learn to just observe, then releasing the expectations, you might find out that the house that you saw down the street for sale was a nice house. So you might get that house, might start fixing it up, which might attract a spouse, and say that spouse is a multimillionaire. She can get you whatever car you want, right? Things might not happen in the order that you want them to happen, but they will happen. But in order to see it happen from your intention, you have to really be able to let go of that expectation. So this is where being a warrior comes in, like that. Remember that book I told to you, Ra, by Trungpa,
The Smile book? You talking
the
about the
Sacred
Smile book?
Warrior?
The Sacred
No,
Warrior.
no,
Okay.
the Sacred Warrior.
Okay.
This is where your internal kung fu, or whatever you want to call it, your martial arts comes into play. It's, you have to stop yourself from sabotaging yourself when you're observing. If your ego is still active, you have to be able to hold that ego, hold the space for that ego, restrain it gently. Like you said, do you need to be delicate with it? Do you need to be forceful? Right. But however you hold it, you should be able to hold it in such a way that it doesn't detract you from staying focused on your intention without, yeah, that's the joint. Without, you want to stay focused on your intention without falling into the realm of expectation. So the best way I could tell you as a simple exercise, if you've ever been out in nature, like, we got our cell phones, we on the computer, we talking to our homies, you on the phone, whatever, right? But go out and you sit in nature. And like the first few minutes that you sit down in nature, you might be thinking about, oh, I got this appointment coming up, or I got to do this, or I got to do that, right? Your thoughts are kind of like all over the place. But then the more you sit there, the more nature starts to become louder than your thoughts. And eventually you can kind of lose yourself in perceiving what's around you as opposed to perceiving the chatter. And the more you let your perception kind of just stretch out and flow, then the more you're in that realm of perception, which is true observing. So true observing is you identifying with your perception. That's the thing that is behind your seeing, behind your smelling, behind your tasting, behind your touch, behind your feel, behind your taste, right? All of those things all come to the same place, that you are perceiving something. So when you can identify with perceiving, then your observations are pure. When you are saturated by, if you're in nature and you're saturated by the sounds of nature, you're just looking at birds, you're listening to the water, and you get to that point where you forgot all about whatever the hell made you want to walk into the woods in the first place. That moment when you're immersed in true perception, that is sincere observation. So observation is when pure perception takes over from expectation.
And how easy is that versus how hard is that?
It's about letting go.
Well,
so how easy is it to let go of expectation?
It really has its roots in the thing that you tell yourself when, like, can you, all right, so like can the average person, I think we misunderstand, we're a bit naive. We think the average person has the capability of being able to observe versus knowing the difference between knowing the difference between observing and judgment. Right. So like
the average person is going to make this going to be like, well, huh? Like, I just want you to make it sound as simple as it is, if you could be.
All right.
If it's possible.
So when you look at a thing to describe a thing, that's judgment, right? So I'm looking at a thing, I'm watching a thing, and I need to point out what that thing is. I then go and tell somebody what that thing is, right? Now, you observing that thing is you looking at the thing and sort of taking mental notes. Okay. Which then leads to an assessment, which then goes to a conclusion, right? So you're taking your list of facts, which is an assessment or assessments, and you're taking a list of facts and you're forming a conclusion based on those facts. That's observation. when you're looking at a thing to just point out a thing and just to say what a thing is, that's all judgment. So the same thing happens when you go into the inner work with yourself. So you have an expectation at mind. You want to get to this fantastic place that everybody is describing. You want to be awakened. You want to be enlightened. You want to be better than woke, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the distinction is, you want that thing. So therefore, because you want that thing and you've described that thing to yourself in your mind, you've made a decision on that thing. You've also made a judgment on that thing. So therefore, when you then go and embark onto that thing and you don't reach those points where you think this is supposed to lead to that, then you're going to judge yourself all the way up because I'm not doing it right. Am I getting it wrong? Is this the right way? That's all judgment. That's all expectation. That's all ego, self-centeredness. When you're in your oneness, you're zero, right? When you're in your divinity, you don't question those things. You know that eventually, if I'm doing it right or wrong on this route, I'm going to get it right. Eventually, I'm going to get there. The repetitions, the fact that I am the fact that I am concerned with it, that I'm being consistent with it, that I am persistent with it, is going to get me there. As opposed to, I'm not doing this right, I should stop. I'm not doing this right, I should stop. No, I'm not doing this right, I should stop.
Okay, because I'm going to bring you back. Why would I start to feel like I'm doing this wrong or I'm doing this right? That's judgment, right? Judgment. Because you
have an expectation that you already set. You have an expectation. Like, so Hood Mystic is describing to me being contacted and being in touch with his soul and his ancestors and being tapped in, right? So I then create that
expectation of what it looks like
in my mind. Yes, I intellectualize it. So then, therefore, if I am not following the steps that Hood Mystic set out for me, then I'm just going to do this wrong, and I'm not going to get there, and there's no reason for me to even do it.
Right.
That's the difference. The observation part would be like, well, Hood didn't say nothing about this. Well, maybe he couldn't explain everything to me. I'm just going to stay here and just see what this is. As opposed to, oh shit, I ain't doing it right. I should just give it. Obviously, I ain't doing it right. I should just give it up.
This is deep. This is deep because I can see it playing off in many different ways and many different variations where judgment falls into expectation, which it all amounts to taking you out of being the observer of your life. So the observer creates a particular need, right? Or a particular path or a plan that you begin to say, all right, I'm going to begin observing, thus tied into intuition, is very strange. So you look for different reasons and ways and rhymes and reasons to navigate your life. But generally, intuition in the ego can't exist because the ego by nature wants to explain every fucking thing, that especially an ego like mine, where it's kind of like evolved into a spiritual ego and I've allowed it. But generally, this crown chakra is like, well, right and exact is right and exact, bro. You got to follow the rules. You got to leave your ego at the fucking door. You create the fucking
You got to get in line. You got to get in line.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So you generally are in the overall expectation of the removal of that which you thought you did remove, but that motherfucker is slick, boy. It's like trying to. It's
mainly because big homie, its roots is psychological.
Right.
So your battle is really with that ego and psychological time. So psychologically, you have created an idea of what success looks like and what success doesn't look like. So if you are then not following within those lines, those parameters that you have already set for yourself subconsciously and intellectually of what success looks like, then
this is
you're going to
big,
judge
bro.
your way. You're going to judge yourself all the way up that line. You're never going to get yourself from point A to point B because you're always going to be thinking like, well, shit, I didn't turn my hand to the left, right this way. I didn't put you know what I'm saying? Like, there's always going to be something that you can nitpick at because you're in judgment.
Yeah.
Instead of
with the ego, but the ego is crafty because the ego is good
because it's psychological.
Because it makes you think that I did this. I built this. I organized this. But your soul and your chakra work is literally on top of it, like really doing it, really planning it, really working it. And if your ego tries to like, your ego tries to assimilate it. Go ahead.
And that's why they say belief is one of the most dangerous things in the world. Because if you believe that thing, then you do become then that thing, right? So of course, in your mind, if you've already created that concept of I need to, go through A, B, and C in order for me to get to D, then if I don't go through this preferentially the way that I already set it up in my mind, then I'm never gonna fucking get there. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna have to start all over again. I'm gonna have to come back around to this and get a whole nother inspiration in order for me to jump off and want to do this again, But that's only if it's rooted in, like you said, the outside, like the judgment part. But if you're centered, none of these things even come up. Like when you got to that point, big homie, like you didn't question yourself as much, did you?
I mean, it's like a relative questioning though, bro. Like, cause like for real, it's like shit. If I'm being honest, I ride myself based upon expectation that I don't need, because I'm smart enough to know that I don't need the ego of expectation. I realized it, but it's subtle enough to make me emotionally triggered to where I'm expecting
certain things,
outcomes. I'm expecting my wife to understand. I'm expecting my kids not to cry because they know daddy is working on a class. Like, they don't know that I'm working on shit, nor should they care or give a fuck about it. You understand? So I'm just generally in the space of expectation, and it's very subtle. And it's kind of like the overall development that I need to allow for me to sit in a space of true gnosis, to really, because I'm trying to meditate and I'm not even trying to do anything, but I'm finding myself being distracted but at peace at the same time, meaning that I feel very close but very far at the same time. But I couldn't couldn't identify the feeling though. I felt it, but it was subtle.
You've mastered your detachment, but you haven't walked away from your fucking responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? So like you've detached yourself from, the regular everyday human mundane shit, but you still at your core are a father. You understand? So that's going to be first and foremost, regardless of whatever you do. You know what I'm saying? However you get tapped in, your core is always going to shine through, because that's the way you set that up. So that makes perfect sense. But the fact that you want to succeed, and it's a pure thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a sincere thing. It's not a charlatan type thing. It's not, you know what I'm saying, like some gimmick type thing. This is something that you believe, that you exemplify. So that's why it means that much more for you. It's so much more profound for you when you don't hit deadlines. I think yours is different. Like, I think you're the exception to the rule, because I think your expectations are in line with what you are manifesting. The difference is the average individual does not have that.
I don't need to fixate on the outcome though. I don't need that shit, because the reality is that I don't care. Really, I know that I don't care. It's like,
because the outcome doesn't solidify you.
Yeah, like I'm always good. So I know this, bro. Like, I know that the course is going to be like, we done did this shit before. So it's not like, oh, this course is different. It's like, no, it's the same courses before. I'm gonna just work on it like I've been working on it, and really work on it. Like I don't care about the overall outcome though, because I generally have to just let that shit go and be present anyways. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. But then I'm just like, shit. But it's like it's deeper than the course. It's me recognizing and seeing my expectations and how it can create negative situations in my life. It can take anthills and make them mountains. And I felt that I was responsible, bro. That's why I was like, I know that you're gonna feel a certain type of way what I'm saying, but I'm really like confused at even how I'm coming at you. And I'm just like saying all of this stuff, and I'm just feeling all of this way, and I'm just like, maybe like I didn't ever even think of like it was I knew it was a problem with me, but I was still in the way of my framing of my words. I was like, it's you, very subtly or trying to reverse it. But no, maybe it's me. Like really fucking going through catharsis or psychosis of some sort. Cause I'm like, she's like, well, what's wrong? I'm like, I just need to be by myself, but make sure you come later. You know what I'm saying? Or like just really confusing.
That sound like that lovable, logical accountability. Doesn't it sound like logical accountability to you, bro? That sounds like logical accountability to me.
Nah, but for real, it cleared it up, this conversation, because I was able to see like, oh, dope. I'm expecting.
And I think another thing that also is transpiring. Another thing that's transpiring, big bro, is that I noticed it in all three of us. All three of us have evolved from class 1. So what's going on is that we've created something that's going to stand the test of time, and on top of that, we're evolving as beings while we're doing this work. So the expectations, the goals, the psychological distinctions that we're putting on ourselves, like we're doing that because we're evolving as beings as we're doing this at the same time.
100%, man. We've been on this live for 2 hours. How y'all feel? Y'all good?
I feel good.
Sorry, I didn't mean to hold people. I felt great though.
No, because the next time we gonna meet up as a trio is gonna be on the 20th. So I just want to make sure that we got everything that we need to say. Because it's gonna be our last live until the 20th. So I just want to make sure that we can our catharsis on.
I'm thinking this live is going to be a study session in somebody's university one day.
Ashe.
Shoot.
Nah, I'm appreciative of y'all for y'all giving me a direction on my answering, because like I was like, me and Hood was talking about it for like 2 hours before the live started. What we gonna talk about tonight? Y'all gave me something to talk about tonight, so I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all.
The Q&A came in hot.
Likewise.
So we appreciate everybody that tuned in and helped us kind of course through this actual energy, because when I'm in these particular states of mind, I can feel the energy and the vibrations, and it's a tuning of steel sharpening steel and bringing about these revelations. This is the soul work, because y'all could have tapped into Beyonce shaking her ass and be like, she look good shaking her ass. And then went back to our normal, regularly scheduled program. We here providing gnosis. So these good brothers is really out here doing the Lord's work. I really do mean that, because, man, the average motherfucker don't give a fuck about their spiritual development for real. They want to create the ambiance that they are spiritual beings, so you could fill their coffers, right?
That's it.
Regular dudes. This nigga done lit up a Newport, smoked a blunt. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm on my third Newport, nigga.
Regular people. You understand what I'm saying? Living a regular life. So you got to respect that truth in the aid of kicking divine knowledge, bro. Shit that awaken even the deepest person that you would imagine. This conversation could awaken, because I'm sitting here like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I'm really confounded and dumbfounded, and I'm really seeking a need of kind of meditating and finding my center and releasing my expectations and kind of moving forward from there and being prepared on the 20th to refine this course and not have no expectations in surrounding how it's going to play out. Excuse me.
Observing is pure consciousness. Observing is pure consciousness.
All I can say is to whom much is given, much is required.
Facts.
Much is required. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Facts. We good?
Yeah, we good.
Yeah, man.
Peace. I appreciate y'all. We good. Yeah, I was tapped in for a little bit. My bad. We good though. We good. We good.
All right, y'all, man. Peace, family.
All right.
Peace.
Peace, everybody.
Peace.